The kibbutz was once the very symbol of Israel. Now, 60 years on, this country has changed, and Kibbutz Ein HaShofet is one of the last of a dying breed. As kibbutz around Israel have privatized, abandoned their socialist doctrine and egalitarian lifestyle, everything here is shared, communal living, just as it was when the kibbutz was founded.
And among the pioneers who built them are Canadians.
CBC News first visited here during Israel's 30th anniversary celebrations. Joe Schlesinger met with some of the founders, Canadians such as Milka Elner, originally from Montreal.
I feel that I've come to the right place.
She came here as a 25-year-old woman dreaming of building a state. Now at 97, she says most of the dreams came true, but not all.
I like to say that there should progress. There should be quiet in the country, and that we should live together with the Arabs in a quieter way.
Elner's daughter now runs the kibbutz secretariat. Yehudit Katz Zamir has left for the city twice, but always found herself drawn to the lifestyle here, the quiet tranquility. Now, looking around, she says Israel has abandoned the values of the kibbutz movement. And she says that weighs on people like her mother, who struggled to build the state in the first place.
I think they have some disappointment that is not continue to be like they thought it's going to be like the beginning.
This kibbutz, while clinging to its socialist roots, has changed with the times. Brand new villas have been built on this pastoral hillside, and high tech has all but replaced the agrarian roots the kibbutz was based on. This is one of 3 factories here that did more than $140 million of business last year alone. That money is pooled and shared equally. Everyone still eats in a communal meal hall. Their housing and clothes paid for, and everyone who can works, just the way the founders dreamt it would be.
If you spend your time at work, you feel much better, and you feel that you deserve the meals you get, the place you sleep in. Yeah.
The state Elner dreamt of, helped build, is turning 60 this week. But that question about whether Israel has become the country its founders intended seems to linger everywhere. It was, for Jews around the world, a magical moment. David Ben-Gurion reading the fledgling state's Declaration of Independence.
I'm here.
Aryeh Handler was there that day with tears in his eyes. He'd spent years before and during World War II working towards that moment.
You know, for me, it was the greatest moment of my life.
He's now the last living person who was in the room that day. But even Handler is beset by lingering questions about the state Israel has become. He says Israel was supposed to show that people of different religions, different races could live together. But he says, just look what happened. 60 years of conflict, 40 years of occupation, Israel has become divided. Jews, Arabs, religious, secular, rich and poor, lost its sense of social justice.
I had then the feeling, and today, that this country could be a country which would be a bit of an example to the nations of the world. If you ask me whether we are doing it at the moment, I say unfortunately no.
Most of the nearly 1.5 million Arab Israelis here see themselves as the best illustration of the ongoing struggle to make Israel a just society. Nadia Hilu's roots run deep here in Jaffa. Her family has been in this port town for centuries. Israelis, yet Arabs, part of the country, yet removed. She's the only female Arab Israeli currently in parliament, and part of a generation working to build Israel in the 21st century. Her hopes and dreams remarkably similar to those of the Jewish founders 60 years ago. She says Israel cannot be whole until all of its citizens have equal rights.
I am speaking about something very basic of equal rights, the integration as a policy of the government, and yet I can't say that we have it. And this is the challenge that I put to the Israel society and the Israel government in the 60th anniversary.
Many at Kibbutz Ein HaShofet are making the same challenge to the government. For Yaniv Sagi, the problem is clear. Israel, he says, was founded by kibbutzniks, anchored in a strong value system bound by social justice.
And the basic rhythm in there was that the human being, the individual, takes responsibility for the society. And we still live that way, and Israel does not.
He says Israel must look back to where it started and remember what really matters, something he says this country has lost sight of.
Israel started as a democratic Jewish social society, and it became less and less socialized and less democratized, and too much fight, too much anger. For Israel to become something different, there has to be social justice and there has to be peace.
And for 60 years, since the very day this state was created, peace has been elusive. What this country has accomplished is extraordinary. But through the generations, from the founders to those who struggle still to build this state, questions remain. Divisions and mistrust haunt Israeli society. And as 60 years come and pass, the struggle remains, and they continue to fight to make Israel the country they dream it can be. Peter Armstrong, CBC News, Kibbutz Ein HaShofet.